Hi guys. Today I want to talk about how intuitive downloads come to me. And what I mean by that is I've been looking at the patterns of my intuitive downloads and like how they're usually expressed to me. And I have found that frequently intuitive downloads come to me as a comparison between something I'm trying to piece together in the world of spirituality and something I already easily comprehend. So a lot of the times it's like I'll see a process in nature, or I'll be thinking about something, a concept that's like a divine concept that I'm trying to wrap my head around, and I'll realize, oh wait, that's just like X, or that's just like Y. For example, the way that we are given divine inspiration is very similar to how a computer would work. And how if you were like almost like playing a game where something decided it wanted to give you an idea, it would prime you with that idea, prime you with that idea, prime you with that idea, in kind of the same way as like marketing works or advertising, where the whole idea of marketing and advertising is like they want you to get so familiar with something by seeing it everywhere that when you desire to buy a product that has to do that, like let's say you need to go buy toothpaste, the goal of a company like Colgate would be to get in front of you as much as possible so that the first thing you think of when you think of toothpaste is Colgate, which obviously it worked on me. But interestingly enough, like, I think divinity works in a similar way. And something I haven't told you guys yet as well is that, like, one of the main things that started this whole journey when it comes to manifestation and I guess spirituality, like, it's not just manifestation anymore, it's really spirituality and finding your higher purpose in general, is that one time I was sitting in my room, like, in college, and I had a little edible and suddenly it hit me, and I had never heard this like theory before, but it suddenly hit me that we are in a simulation. Like, it just, like, simulation theory made so much sense to me all of a sudden, and out of nowhere, even though I had literally never like heard about it or anything, I like started researching simulation theory, and I was like, this is legit, like, this is real. And I think it is because of like how similar natural processes are to computers, like that a lot of us would feel like that, and then also the likelihood of us being in a simulation, just due to the fact that if simulations of that level do exist, then it's much more likely than not that you live in a simulation rather than like what would be the original source. But see, it's like, it's very deep, right? Because computers are just our best way of comparing this process, of understanding this process that's so complex, but like computers are the most close to it. But I feel as though computers are echoing reality in a way. Like, the creation of computers and tech actually echoes a process that already exists within reality. So it's not necessarily that we're living in a computer, but that a computer is the best thing that we have to compare what it is that we're living in, because it's the most similar. Because a computer is almost like a replication of reality, you know? So once again, I'll go back to what I was trying to say, but like, I think that if you have something that, okay, again, I believe that we have these divine placements, right? This purpose, and something, whether that be our guides or whether that be the person playing our little sim character, I don't know, but something is basically advertising to us the next best move for us. Like, it doesn't necessarily come from within. It does come from outside of us, or it comes from these like random little downloads and things that you start to realize when you're pondering or like really thinking on a certain problem that you're dealing with, right? This video might be a little all over the place, but it's like, these are some complex topics that I'm trying to kind of like piece together, right? But yeah, it feels as though these little divine inspiration is external. Like, it is fully internal, but at the same time it's like random. Like, it's like you knew it all along. Maybe it lived within your subconscious, but it chooses randomly when to pop to the front of your mind, into your consciousness, into your awareness, okay? And so it almost feels like, again, like something is advertising something to you, an idea or a move for you to make, until your character, like your sim basically, feels comfortable enough with that idea for you to go execute it. And it feels like it's like almost like something can see our bar of readiness, right? Like, where they can like see, okay, like they're getting comfortable with this idea, they're getting comfortable, and then yes, the green light goes off and it says we're ready to execute the idea, and something clicks a button basically, and suddenly we get the energy onto us to go execute that idea. Because like a lot of the time it's like I'll notice myself being like, okay, I know I should go get my Instagram started and get that back rolling. I know I should start taking my video clips from YouTube and start putting them onto Instagram and putting them onto TikTok. I know I'm eventually going to do that, because it always happens this way where I get like little inklings, little reminders here and there. Maybe see a video where somebody's like, you have to get your stuff on Instagram, you need to do your TikTok stuff or whatever. Like, just things that like make me familiar with the idea. But divine timing will always execute at the right time and divine timing, and it will always, it's like it gives you a burst of energy. It gives you the energy that you need to execute said, I just lost my word for it, to execute said like mission. I don't know, like I feel like it's mission by mission, because like months and months and months ago I kept on getting, I mean honestly my whole life I've been getting like these little whispers to start a YouTube channel, and I would never listen to it. Like, I had to be made comfortable enough with that idea. I had to see that over and over and over again, like randomly throughout my life, and have like these random kind of intuitive downloads of like data come on to me that told me, you know, this is a good idea. And then I just kind of waited, because there's something higher that knows when the right time is to strike, and it will fill you with that energy when it is time. So it's like, I knew it was coming because I started thinking more and more frequently about starting a YouTube channel. And it was started to get to the point where it was like engulfing me, like where I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then I was like, okay, it's like, I felt one day, I was like, okay, it's time to go. Almost like a floodgates like opened. It's like there was this tension between whether or not I was going to do the thing, until it's like that those gates could no longer hold that action back anymore, and I just went and executed it. And then I slowly kind of like became comfortable then with actually creating videos, and then I'm upping my ante as I go now, right? So I don't think you have to worry about, when you're like having true faith and trust in divinity, divine timing, all these things, I don't think you have to ever worry about forcing anything. Like, I truly think it's like the right ideas will come to you at the right times, and you have to fully have trust and faith in that. And then also the energy will come to you at the right times. So like, you will, if you have this desire and it's already been placed onto you, like, you need to trust that, like, if you do tend the soil of your own higher self, right? Like, if you remove the things that don't align with that vision of yourself that you have, and you water yourself by, like, you know, I mean, for me, it would be like reading more books, or like taking care of myself in general, not allowing myself to get into extremely stressed out situations. And if I am, removing myself from them and realizing that, like, my mental health is so important, because if I'm not watering myself, I can't do what it is that I'm wanting to do, right? Like, I can't pour from an empty cup. So yeah, as long as you're taking care of yourself and you're just paying attention and you're trusting, then the inspiration will come at the right time. And it will be something that it's like, at the end of the day, you can't really control when these like little spurts of data come onto you. You can't really control when you'll actually fully have the energy to go do something. It's something that comes onto you naturally and almost randomly, but it's not random. It's just that I feel like something else, your co-creator is helping. It's your co-creator's job to give you that energy and to give you that inspiration at the right times, and you need to trust in that, right? So this all goes to say, I have a few more comparisons that I'll want to make. And I was just thinking about how also, like a computer, when a computer is programmed, it's programmed by learning about different patterns that already exist, by kind of like taking in a lot of data, right, and finding patterns and comparing things. It has a lot to do with comparison as well. Like, for a computer to understand, a lot of the time it builds off of what it already knows, right? And so we also kind of work in that way, and these downloads work in that way too, where it's like, I get these downloads that build off of what I already know. And honestly, that's why I think it is good to know about a lot of things. And I've tried a lot of things, and people have made fun of me for trying a lot of things and not like sticking to them. But at the end of the day, it's like allowing me to understand more types of like symbols that I can share with you, or different metaphors or allegorical storytelling, like things that I wouldn't have maybe been able to do if I only had like one trade that I could have related to you. But now I have like a lot of different things, and that also goes back into the divine purpose, right? People used to make fun of the fact that I didn't ever settle down on one thing, like that I didn't really specialize yet. And for me, it's just because like I felt like I wanted to learn about a lot of different things, and I wanted to make sure I found the thing that worked best for me, that was right for me. And it truly has turned out to be an advantage for me, right? Like, it has become a good thing. Like, it had its purpose, right? Like, I don't know for sure the finalized definite purpose, because you'll keep on realizing purpose of things, you know, throughout your life. Like, there's purpose to everything you do, and don't let anybody make fun of you for what it is that you're doing, or like the time that you're choosing to spend. If you're like just doing everything that you're doing in a way that you know is going towards something you believe in strongly, then that will never be a waste of time. I don't even know that anything can be a waste of time, because at the end of the day, everything that we do like has this purpose behind it. But it's like it, I don't know, like I would have had to go through every single thing that I went through in order to get to where I am here today, talking about what I'm talking about today, which is within my purpose. Like, I needed every single experience that I had, so that's what I kind of mean. But it's also like, if you get to a point where like what your soul is desiring from you is different than what your ego is desiring from you, or like it's like what I should be versus like what I know deep down I am, that's the only time I feel like you can really waste time, is like once you've kind of come to that realization that I'm doing something maybe because of like what other people want me to do. So if like you continue to choose that over and over, then that could be a waste of time. But at the same time, it's like I said, in that moment, if that idea has already planted onto you that maybe I want to leave this, like maybe this job or this relationship because I know it's not me that's wanting it, it's like I'm doing it because I think I should want it. Once that like idea has already implanted in your head, it's just going to get louder and louder and louder until that like button is basically clicked and you get the energy to execute and leave the situation that you're in. You know what I mean? So it's like at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say here is just have faith and trust that divinity is similar to it's similar to like a person playing a Sims character, right? And it will give you the energy at the right times. It will give you the little hints at the right times. And you just need to trust in that. And also, I guess I'm here to say that spiritual guidance very frequently will come to you in ways of comparisons. And that's why you see, like in the Bible and a lot of different religious texts, that there are so many stories, there are so many symbols, there are so many things, because it's like, this is the most complex concept known to date, really, is like the nature of reality, right? Like that is extremely hard to put words to because it is so all encompassing, it's so all engulfing in a way where it's like, how could we possibly like explain that? But I'll tell you right now, we can explain those things through other things that already exist in nature. I mean, even technology is considered nature in a way. I know that sounds weird, but tech is nature because we are nature and we created it. It's the same way how like if an ant created an anthill, then that's nature. That's earth. We need to stop separating ourselves from nature and realize that we are nature, and technology is nature's creation. I got in a little tangent there. My mind went a little blank just now. Sometimes you guys I don't know if you guys know this, but I am neurodivergent. I do have ADHD. I am diagnosed with ADHD. So sometimes I'll lose my train of thought, like literally like it's like all of a sudden out of my head. It's kind of funny. Give me a second. In nature we compare. Okay, yeah, so that's like why different religious texts and everything have so many of those comparisons, because that's truly like, that's how computers learn, and that's actually how human beings learn. And we need to realize that like these are natural processes. Like technology is technically a natural process because it came from our nature. And so computers can actually show us, because they're so complex, a different view of divinity. And there's different like comparisons that also go into that, right? Like where I was talking to you guys about last time, how like manifestation is very similar to like planting crops. And this is another thing. This might be a long video. Okay, because I was like thinking about also how like manifestation compares to crops, but it also like creating the life of like your highest self, or like finding your divine assignment. It's like also very similar to like, you know, like we talked about like bloom, like a blooming flower, but also like a sprouting plant, right? Where I think a lot of you, if you're on this channel, will relate to the idea of maybe we thought we were going to bloom and we were going to see full manifestations come into reality this last month, and maybe they haven't fully come into like fruition or broom. Maybe they haven't broomed into full bloom, but they did come into reality in a way that they never have before, in a way that was kind of like a sprout, where for years and years and years you may have been working on something in a very underground way. And I think that's why they call that underground, where it's like you were working on the roots, you were working on things that nobody could see, even you couldn't see it. It's like something that was fully like away from visible light. It's like literally not visible is but it's the foundation, right? It's like the most necessary part are those roots, and that's what's going to allow for longevity. So I believe that we've sprouted. Like, I am gonna just keep using my YouTube as a good reference for this. Is like, you guys have kind of followed my journey. For those of you that haven't, like, I was an entrepreneur. I am still an entrepreneur, but it's like I'm kind of like shifting my direction. I ran out of money, and now I'm kind of trying to figure out exactly what my real path is. I let go of everything, like literally everything, like my relationship, my all of my clients, my business. Like, I let go of everything to try and find what it is that I actually am here to do. Okay? And it felt like that was obviously the underground work. Like, that was like the knocking everything down, and almost like the forest fire or the great flood type of situation, where it took everything that I had built and just like got rid of it, and all I had left was what I would need to sustain new life, to create new life. And that kind of reminds me of the, Noah's Ark. Is like, he had all the different animals on his boat, and he was prepared. Like, he had been prepared over, many years to build this boat, and just had faith that once this flood that was going to wash everything out came around, he would be safe. He would have enough to sustain and create new life afterwards. And that's kind of like how I'm feeling right now, right? Is I prepared myself over like the years before I let go of all this stuff by studying a lot and working on myself and working on, trying to find what it is that I want to go do. And so I was prepared that when this flood came in and or this forest fire came in, that there would still be at least enough for me to create life like after that. And that has come from within me, like the things that I've learned and the preparation that I've had, similar again to Noah's Ark. And now I do feel like the flooding has ended. I feel like I'm finally at a place where I have sprouted out of the ground. Now, where I've become in the visible light, similar to, like, that's why I'm saying, like, with YouTube, like, I'm now visible on YouTube. I don't believe that I'm quite at the, I don't believe I've nearly reached my potential. Like, I don't think I've grown into that flower yet. I don't think I've grown into the fruit yet, obviously, because like there's no fruit, there's no harvest quite yet, but I am preparing to harvest, like I've talked to you in previous videos. But I believe we've really sprouted, and we've come into reality, and we're now just going to grow and grow and grow. And all that we have to do is, in order to grow, is similar to photosynthesis, be fed by light. But for us, it's not visible light as much as it is that internal divine light that God gives you to follow through those little divine downloads, like I was talking about, of data, and then those divine downloads of energy, like where we randomly get energy to do certain things. So I believe that we have crossed into the point where now we are in the visible physical reality, right? Where whatever you've been working on is now in the visible physical reality. But yeah, maybe if you felt like you were going to turn into that flower, I think that you are in the process of becoming that flower, because now you're visible, like, but you're growing. All I know for sure is that you're growing, and you're growing in the visible world, and you're starting to be able to see physical signs of your manifestation of your higher self coming into your life. So just really stay believing in that divine timing, and that the information that you need will come onto you, as well as the energy that you need. And what you've been doing all along has clearly been, you've been doing something right, because you're in a new, if you're here, like, I just assume that you're likely in a similar situation, or in one, or maybe kind of like coming towards that situation, because that's why this divine download is coming to you, right? Like, this was also guided to you for a specific reason. And even if it's like tomorrow you're not going to go act on it. It's like what I was talking about. It's like maybe you need to see this in these videos over and over and over until a point where it actually feels like it it's time for you to act, right? Where you feel comfortable enough to act. And that's also the last thing that I wanted to reference in regards to another thing I can compare all of these concepts to, which we talked about earlier. It is the idea of the flood, because like when I was thinking about Noah's Ark and the flood, I also think about how divine the idea of a flood is, right? And a forest fire, where it's these things that are literally just like, once they start, it is not man's duty to stop them. Like, it's not something that we can, like, of course, like, firemen can control fires, like, but it's something so powerful, like these forest fires. It's something where we kind of just have to wait, where once the floodgates have opened, you just kind of have to wait, because it's inevitable at that point. It's something that completely takes over. And I think that that is also the same thing that happens within your personality when you're also trying to transition and become a different version or a higher version of yourself, or something that's closer to that genuine version of yourself. Where, just like I was saying before, like, there's this tension that's being created on the floodgates, right? Like, for me, like, if I'm wanting to become a certain type of person, I start by thinking about that, then I start acting in that way in various situations, and then it gets to the point where the scales are starting to tip, where I'm starting to act more like my new self than I did. I'm starting to act more like my new self more frequently than I act like my old self, and then I try to bring my new self into more and more situations that I'm in, like where that new self is something that I act as in every possible scenario, and it starts to tip those scales, and then it's like the tension just snaps, and it's like the floodgates open of your new personality, and it's like almost like it's like God takes over at that point, right? Where it's like nothing you could do or say could now stop that from becoming you. And I feel like that's where we're at today. I feel like that's where this collective is right now, where it's like it's gotten to the point where the physical reality has been created. So like that sprout has been created. There's real, like, you're not just in the dark anymore. You're in this real reality. But not only that, like, the floodgates have truly opened to this new reality, and there's nothing that even you could do to stop it now. Like, you couldn't even stop what is coming to you. You already did the work, and the tension has now snapped, and it's just bound to happen. Like, that's how I feel about my YouTube channel. Like, truly, I'm like, I opened the floodgates now. Like, I did my piece, and now, like, as long as I keep on going, as long as I keep on going, like, what I want to happen is inevitable. But not only just that, like, I can't even interfere with it, because it's like divine inspiration will hit me so frequently that I will keep on going no matter what. I don't need to force myself to make videos anymore. It's like they come on to me, and it's just a natural part of my life. So it feels like my new personality has kind of like flooded. It's almost like this light has come into me, and it's like flooded and taken over my body, to the point where now that old version of myself is being completely like pushed out and washed away, and all I have now is like this ability to create this new life for myself. And again, it's like, it's literally something I can't even control at this point. Like, I pushed and pushed and pushed into this direction for long enough to the point that, and I had faith long enough to the point that like something snapped that can't be reversed. So I feel the same is going on for you, where it's like, you should just, it honestly is probably getting easier for you to have faith at this point, because you're actually starting to see some things pop into your reality that you never really have before. You're starting to see things that like are symbols of the success that you've been trying to create for so long, you know? So all of this is to say that messages will come to me as symbolism, and that's why I wanted to use a lot of different examples of that within this video and story today. I hope you enjoyed it. It is much longer than usual, but I think I think it was a good message. When I first started it out, I was like thinking I was doing a practice round, but I decided to go all the way through with you guys. So thank you so much if you got here to this last part. And even if you didn't, you know, thanks for being here in general. But I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, I would love to talk to you guys in the comments, or if you're interested in booking a one-on-one session with me where we kind of start to, where we'll discuss like your life and any questions that you have, and maybe pull a few cards and see where that goes. The link in the description can take you to a portal to kind of like schedule that with me. There are also a new thing that I'm trying to do within the description, which is if you go to my Stan store, you can see a sign up for the newsletter that I want to create. I just barely added it to my Stan store, so I haven't yet created the newsletter, but I've actually done newsletters for like the Utah Black Chamber of Commerce. I still do them. And so I just thought like I might as well start to do one for my followers. It's totally free, so sign up if you're interested. I'm going to start doing like divine downloads and like maybe different journal prompts, like just exclusive content through there. I think that would be a fun thing to do. So things to kind of like help you, you know, on your journey, and things that have helped me on my journey of finding and fulfilling my purpose. So that's everything today. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.